everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we'll talk about planet Saturn, how Saturn influences one's soul journey. So whenever I say the term Saturn, there's this smile which naturally comes on my face, and a lot of people do get disappointed. Why do you smile when you talk about Saturn? Isn't it a very serious thing? And my answer is I cannot help with this. I just smile naturally. Like whenever I talk about good things, I smile, and whenever I'm talking about my challenges or the bad things, I smile too. So, this is a lesson given by Saturn. No matter what happens tomorrow, it could be good or bad, but you can have this smile on your face and continue with your challenges. You can continue with your journey. So, smiling comes naturally these days to me. And yeah, today we'll talk about how Saturn is about survival, it's about stability, and most importantly, the maturity of the soul. By the term maturity of soul, I want to talk about how Saturn helps one to take charge of one's own life. So the invention of wheel is the best thing happened to the mankind. From the potter's wheel came the wheelbarrow, from the wheelbarrow came a bullock cart, and then we reached to the invention of a car. It helps to move fastly, right? But with car again came a greatest invention of all time, and that's a seat belt. Still an accessory for a lot of people, but that is the basic necessity. It's a must. When your car stops suddenly, this seat belt helps you to stop at the same time. We are coming closer to our main point. We're going to talk about Saturn very soon, but this is connected, okay? So if that seat belt is not there, you will continue to be in motion, and you know the rest, what will happen. So the seat belt fights the inertia. What is inertia? It is the body's tendency to resist changes in motion. When something is in motion and it is stopped, suddenly that object will continue to be in motion. That is what inertia is. And if something is at rest, you try to move it, it will resist that movement. It will continue, or it will try to be at rest. And that is very natural to humans. We resist changes in life. We are fearful. We do not like changes. It makes us nervous. And this inertia of life is ruled by Saturn. The more you get fearful about movement, about changes, how the time controls us, or how our life is somehow out of control, that is what Saturn is about. We resist changes. When we want something and we're constantly moving to get that, but you see obstacles, you're like, no, I want to move forward, and then you struggle with that thing. And when you don't want to do anything, you're just lazy, and everything is just pushing you, hey, get up, do something, you again want to be at that state of rest. So Saturn brings that inertia in life, and that inertia is something which designs a life. Now, how Saturn brings maturity of soul? How it's a planet which helps you to grow. How it helps you to have a control on yourself. You cannot control. That is the biggest lesson. You cannot control what happens around you, but you have a control on your mind, what you do, what actions you should take. So how you mature with Saturn. Now, if you see, Saturn is exalted in a sign which is about balance, about justice. It's in Libra. So there are two aspects which are balanced here, and Saturn is so happy that these two aspects of life are getting balanced at this particular point. So what are those two aspects? Saturn is working on bringing a balance between the practical aspect of life and the spiritual aspect of life. Balancing these two things is the ultimate way through which you mature, you evolve, and you grow. Just look at how Saturn impacts Sun and Moon. Like um, the house which is ruled by Leo, just opposite to it, there is this house ruled by Aquarius. The house which is ruled by Cancer, 7 places away, just opposite, that house is ruled by Capricorn. So Saturn is always opposite to either Sun or the Moon. It's the soul, it's the mind, it's the ego, it's the attachments, that emotional weakness. So, what Saturn does, it brings a sense of fear, it brings nervousness, it brings some kind of pain, sorrow, or just it creates a situation which is uncomfortable. And this situation arises because something needs to be destroyed in your life. Okay, there is a reason why Saturn is always opposite to Sun and Moon, and of course these two planets are enemy to Saturn. So with respect to your soul, Saturn is helping you to dissolve your ego, dissolve all that pride, and strengthen yourself. It may induce diseases because Saturn is known for bringing health issues, lethargy, because there is something about your life, something about your soul's journey which is not good. And if you keep that thing with yourself, you will develop more issues. So that physical weakness or that way of working which you have been doing constantly, this needs to be removed, because there are certain patterns which we see again and again in life, and you will continue to see them. You'll continue to see them if you do not see the truth, if you do not accept that truth, if you don't learn a lesson from that. So this is what Saturn wants to teach you, your soul and the sun. Okay, with respect to Moon, Saturn may bring emotional conflict, emotional weakness, some kind of psychological attachment. I want this, I want that, or this is not working for me, so what should I do? So Saturn induces fear, it induces pain to you, and it's not because it wants you to be unhappy. It's because you have to now get rid of that part of life, that emotion, that attachment. Because the more you cling to it, you will be more and more unhappy and you will be stuck there forever. So you need to remove that emotion, you need to get rid of that state. And from there, you see again a new path. So if we see how sun works, sun is about sustaining life. The sun's light is sustaining everything. It is helping every living form to grow. But Saturn is doing the same, but it does in a difficult way. It is working in darkness. It is working in a very difficult way. It brings fear, it brings some kind of sorrow, but it's all to regenerate a certain aspect of life. So that's why Saturn challenges Sun and Moon in a tremendous way, the soul and the mind, so that you can learn to move beyond a certain obstacle, a challenge which is so painful, and you cannot let it go. So that needs to go away. That death needs to happen, because Saturn is associated to death as well. So it's not just about the physical death. I'm saying death of that certain issue, death of that mindset, that emotion, which is causing you so much pain. And if you dwell on that, you will never see the right changes happening in your life. Taking charge of your life is important, and that's how Saturn works. It challenges your soul and mind. And once you learn to evolve, once you learn to take charge of your life, you know this is not working, so let it be away from me. I have so much to do. When you take charge of life, it means you are growing. Now, what are the signs which shows that your soul is reaching to a level of maturity? Well, Saturn is about material things, okay, because it rules the 10th and the 11th house. 10th house of ambition, your career path, how the world views you, where you stand in society. 11th house of gains, income, profits. So initially it will just push you into this material world, and you will constantly work hard. I want this, I want that, that is so important for me to grow in life. And constantly working towards your ambitions, money. At one point, that ambition, that achievement, that profit, that money, it doesn't makes you happy at all. You start losing interest in that, and you develop a lot of frustration. There is um, there is this feeling that I have no purpose. There is this feeling of not achieving good things in life, which makes you happy. Still, you have a lot of things, but you're not happy, and you don't know what your purpose is. So, that frustration, that emptiness is a sign that now Saturn is taking you to the ultimate path. You have grown, you have learned a lot about material world, and when the material world is not appealing anymore to you, you're not happy with it, you still feel dissatisfied, and you know that life is more than this thing, this material thing. There is more to life. You are ready, because 10th house, 11th house, and finally, like, why after that profit and gain you suddenly go into the 12th house of isolation? It's about spirituality, enlightenment, because Saturn prepares you for that. Once you work hard and achieve it all, you feel still like something is missing, and then Saturn takes you to that spiritual path. So these are the signs when your soul has matured, you have grown so much, and the other people's judgment, the other people's views will not bother you anymore. So these are the signs how your soul is growing, it has matured, and you no longer dwell on the painful things. You know, okay, this was my lesson. Now, whatever you face, whatever issue you face, there are less of regrets and more of lessons. You have learned it very well. So that is a sign how your soul has grown and evolved. Planet Saturn do have a very tough way of bringing maturity of the soul. It will constantly throw back you that same lesson again and again, until and unless you accept it and you choose to outgrow that lesson, outgrow that situation. So if you have seen the rings of Saturn, the rings are concentric circles. But in the recent researches, it's found that certain rings of Saturn are actually in spiral forms. So I came across this quote a few days ago. The path isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. You continually come back to things that you thought you understood and see deeper truths. So the path of Saturn, I feel, is a spiral. You will come back to that same place, you will come back to that same lesson, that same situation, to understand it more deeply. You're like, okay, I have learned this, but why am I facing this again? Because you haven't learned it completely, and there is something which you need to look into detail. More deeper truth needs to be understood, and this is how Saturn makes you a more strong and a stable person. Saturn is about structure of life, and how you will create a better structure by learning about yourself and not repeating that mistake again and again. So when you learn your lessons well, Saturn brings structure. it brings stability. You learn eventually how to survive in this world. First, materially, that Capricorn aspect, learning the material things, surviving in this world, creating your name, your position, and then comes the Aquarius part, when eventually you start getting a bit frustrated, and then you learn that there is a beauty in life when you work for others. Ultimately, that ability to give, work for others is your goal. This makes you happy, and then you move forward towards the spiritual path. And Saturn is the foundation of life, as I have mentioned. Once you master yourself, once you learn to take charge of life, you reach to that great point of stability. And if your Saturn is weak and you feel there is lack of stability in life, you can reduce that impact greatly by creating a right schedule, a daily routine. You have to organize your life, you have to bring structure in your life, you have to plan things rightly, and value the time you have, value that 24 hours you have every single day, and you will start seeing changes, beautiful changes. In whatsoever sign Saturn is placed in your chart, the house where it is placed, that house may keep you stuck in life. You want changes, but the changes are not happening quickly. You may resist changes. Sometimes what you want is right there in front of you, but you are resisting it out of fear. How my life will change after this, or that aspect of life works slowly for you. Even if you want to be in this full motion to get that, you will see some kind of block. The growth is sluggish, and that house is creating a certain fear. And you have to get rid of the psychological attachments connected to that house. So I do see a lot of charts with Saturn in the 12th house. Almost every month there's so many charts which I see with Saturn in the 12th house, and this is about getting rid of the fear of your own self, getting rid of this mindset that I cannot change my path, I cannot convince the world that I am good, I cannot connect to my inner power. You are resisting your own self, you are challenging your own self. There is a certain mental belief and it is stopping you. So any kind of psychological attachment or a belief or a fear will stop you related to that house. So wherever Saturn is placed, that needs to be checked, and understand what lesson you are learning from there and how you can do important changes to accept that lesson and move forward. That house will make you very strong. Now, as I have told you, Saturn is the foundation of life. It talks about stability and survival, and it is greatly associated to one energy center in your body, and that is the Muladhara Chakra, which is present at the base of your spine. And if Saturn is weak in your chart or it is afflicted, it does point towards that this particular energy center is weak or it is imbalanced. The Muladhara Chakra is present at the base of spine, red-orange in color, made of 4 petals, and this is about self-preservation. That deep instinct you have to survive yourself, to make it happen, to function properly. And when this aspect of your body, this chakra, is being imbalanced, you will not be able to stick to your plans. And that again happens when Saturn is weak. You're not able to stick to your strategies, your plans in a great way, and you constantly wait for the right time to happen, for the for things to be perfect. Like, you want everything should be in structure, it should work in a certain way, so you will keep on delaying things, you will keep on waiting for the right time, or waiting that when you will function well, everything will be done at that time. So you wait more, you procrastinate more, and your work is not up to the mark, like worrying more and doing nothing. And also it brings problems with respect to your muscles and skeletal system. So when you are constantly in fear, you are nervous, you're constantly in a survival mode, and you have almost forgotten to live your life. There is no stability. It means that Saturn is weak somewhere, and of course the Muladhara Chakra is also being impacted. When this chakra is underactive, and because of this, you may feel depressed, sluggish, you may have unrealistic plans, or you may not have the practical solutions for your issue. You may lost touch with the physical reality, problems in finding the job, whatever work you are doing, your performance is not good, and it also creates problems in the business as well. So working on this chakra can make your Saturn strong. And the best thing which you can do for this chakra to strengthen the Saturn as well is to do grounding. The term grounding has become quite viral and fancy these days. People are taking it to new heights, its meaning, how you can achieve it. But we have been doing grounding since many generations. We were being taught to sit down on the floor, eat our food, and most of the works were done by sitting on the floor, developing your bond with earth. Literally, grounding means living in the reality, having a strong hold on reality, having your feet firmly placed on the ground. When you do that, you learn to live in present. Remember what I was telling you, Saturn teaches this lesson to live in now, and do not fear about what is going to happen, and do not be anxious about what happened in the past. Okay, so grounding literally means being here in the current moment, physically, emotionally, and this will give you the greatest blessing of all. You will see so much of stability and strength coming into your life. So how you can strengthen this aspect, how can you be more grounded, more stable, and how this automatically strengthens your Saturn, strengthens your Muladhara Chakra. So one activity which you can do almost every day for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever suits you. What you need to do is sit on a chair straight and make sure that your foot is on the ground. It's resting on the ground properly, your feet is in touch with the ground. Okay, or you can sit down as well, and you can do this activity. So close your eyes and imagine that your base of spine, that base of spine is now connected to earth through a certain system. Like the roots are growing from your base of spine, and those roots are going down into earth. Just how the trees have their roots going deep within the earth, in same way from your base of spine you have roots going down. Okay, now what you have to imagine is that your energy from your head to feet, your energy is flowing and going down to earth. All that energy from your head, from your upper body, your lower body, everything is reaching to those roots at the base of your spine, and from there it is going into the earth. Once you start feeling that flow, now imagine that there is this one energy which is going down into the ground, and then those roots are also taking up some energy from earth, and now it's flowing into your body, from your feet, from your base of spine, then your lower body, upper body, and to your head, and it's flowing on the top of your head, it's flowing away from your head as well. So you have to see two different flows of energy. Imagine it, feel it. One flow which is coming from your head, going to the roots to the earth, and one flow of energy from the roots to from the earth to roots to your body to your head, and then going above the head. When you feel this two different flows, like do this activity for 5-10 minutes daily, this is the best way to be grounded. This is a kind of a meditation, an activity which will make you feel more connected to your reality, and you will have a lot of strength to accept your situations. You will not fret about what's going to happen next. You will never be punishing yourself about what happened in the past, and you will make more better and practical decisions. So this is the grounding technique, which is the most easiest way to practice this grounding. And yes, it works. It really helps one to be more focused towards what changes you have to do, how you can change a certain situation, how you can control your own actions, your path. All right, so this was about Saturn and how it brings stability, how it brings survival and maturity of soul. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. See you next time. Take care.